You know, I don't know, bro. You definitely need an ointment of some kind. There's some kind of growth there, but hi, Beaumont J Barbecue here, self-proclaimed king of all barbecue, and today we are reviewing the classic in the Frankenstein series, Young Frankenstein. Oh man, what a serious chiller this one is. This one take place sometime after House of Frankenstein, and now the Young Frankenstein, now I think he great-grandson of Henry Frankenstein from the first one. He is a college professor talking about how anatomy works. All his students just want to know what his grandfather did to bring the monster to life, and he's a big denier, saying that his grandfather was a crazy cuckoo.
My grandfather was a very sick man.
And he says this is about the central nervous system and trying to bring life to an actual living being with a conscience and a personality and albeit a soul.
You have more chance of reanimating this scalpel than you have of mending a broken nervous system.
Wow, deep philosophical stuff to think about here in this movie. And then the students keep pressing and says, yes, but didn't your grandfather? Yes, but didn't? And then he gets all agitated and he stabs a scalpel into his thigh. That makes me laugh so hard. It's like, wow, he's really showing his passion there. But this is a serious film. Really, what they're trying to do is impress upon you the seriousness of his conviction. I want you to ask yourself one thing. Can you see Nicolas Cage in this role? Like the famous Nicolas Cage freakouts, do they kind of match Gene Wilder freakouts?
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
How could somebody misfile something? What could be easier? It's all alphabetical.
Hearts and kidneys are tinker toys.
You just put it in the right file.
I am a scientist, not a philosopher.
According to alphabetical order.
My grandfather's work was doo-doo.
You know, A, B, C, D, E, F.
I am not interested in death.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
The only thing that concerns me is the preservation of life.
Do you act what I say? Huh?
It takes a lot of skill to be able to do that, man, to unleash the caged animals, so to speak.
That's all you have to do.
But I digress. This is Victor Frankenstein. He denying the Frankenstein namesake.
Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
And he gonna go ahead and travel to Castle Frankenstein, and there he meet Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
They go to take a nice little coach ride to the castle, and that's where he meets, I forget her name, Olga? Maybe it's Olga.
Would you like to have a roll in the hay?
It's one of my favorite lines, and she goes, roll, roll, roll in the hay.
Roll in the hay.
And then he talk about her boobies later when Igor go and he bang on the castle door, and then he goes, what knockers? And she's like, oh, thank you, doctor. So there's some innuendo, and you know that they probably gonna hook up. What? And then Frau Brucker, she answered the door, and she is a woman of such intense veracity that every time her name is said, it terrifies the horses.
I am Frau Blucher.
But it's to remind us, the audience, that some women are so terrifying that if you own animals or livestock, listen to them, because they have a sixth sense and they might reveal to us whether this is a crazy broad or not. Then they explore a castle and a lot of different things that they discover, like a wall to spin around for such, and that Ovaltine is something that Frau Brucker likes to serve.
Ovaltine.
They go and find a secret room, and it's a private library, and there's a book that he wrote. They don't bury the lead on the title of the book. It's called How I Did It. Victor, he look at it and he goes like, it could work.
It could work!
Tell me you can't see Nicolas Cage doing that exact same performance and line delivery. You tell me that you can't see it. I can't be the only one. Go ahead and find a dead body. It's been hanged. And then there's a little bit of hilarity with the constable. And I always like the constables in these Frankenstein movies, especially when they ain't got a normal arm. It's just hilarity ensues. And then they go ahead and they set up the lab and they bring the monster back to life. And what happens is that the monster, he a little special. And he get out, and what happened when he goes out is he has a few little adventures. One with a blind man, where he tries to get soup, and the blind man feeds it to his lap. And sets them on fire. And then finally they lure him back with a beautiful siren song played by a violin. And they think to themselves, I probably should destroy this abomination against God. But instead they put him on Broadway. Again, everybody doing something a la King Kong. So they teach the monster how to sing Putting on the Ritz. Pretty awesome. I mean, he got to work on his vocal intonation, but I think that's all part of it, is that, you know, they're exploiting him, and it's not so much about his talents. It's just, hey, come look at the freak. Anyway, a light burns out, and Victor tries to settle the monster down because he's startled, and then it just don't work out. He ends up running amok, and they realize that, you know what? The only way to settle this boy down is you got to give him some of your brain power. And they got that device. I didn't know that they had that. And most insurances cover it, as I understand. You put this hat on this person with a little wavy wire on this person, another hat, and then you transfer some of their brain over. And yeah, I think Comcast invented it. Victor becomes a little monster-like, you know. He gets the monster urges to do monster things. Yeah, and his fiance comes over, right? But his fiance's like, dude, I want the real thing, the real monster. And she comes out like this. And that monster's like, I won't get me some. And then Victor goes to get him some, and it all ends with everybody getting some. Anyway, that there is Young Frankenstein. It's a movie that I watch at least once a year. To be honest, sometimes more, because I just like to have it on. I think it's clever and funny and really well done. And if you're a fan of the Frankenstein series, particularly the first three, but there is a little bit of Ghost of Frankenstein homage in there, you should really enjoy this one. So if you haven't seen it, King Barbecue gives his recommendation to go check it out. Otherwise, I'll come find you and I'll bash your brains in.